picking out fruit flies. So, where did that one go? So this is going to be the beginning of a big week. Monday, the gold breast babies should be independent, which means I can start trying to catch up the parents and the babies out of the aviary, to empty the aviary. I have to start live food for the black sheep for their second clutch, and start watching for them to hatch, which would be either Tuesday or Wednesday. Then, either Wednesday or Thursday, I am possibly getting some new birds arriving, which will explain what's happening behind you. Then, if I can get, over the course of the week, the aviary emptied, then I can start cleaning, shut the heat off, shut the lights off. On Thursday, Friday, plus watching my new birds, plus quarantining. By then, I would be, if their chicks hatch, I'll be doing my 2-hour rotation of fresh live food and egg food from 6 in the morning until 6 at night. Yeah. So if that sounds interesting, stay tuned. So because most of this video is going to be about projects, I thought I would talk about some of the birds first. This is most of the twin spots, actually all but 2. Sprite and a friend of his are in a different cage. Sprite is the one displaying with his burlap. That's the chick that I hand raised last spring. And these guys are separated out just because I don't have females for them yet. Hopefully I will sometime next year. So these are the 6 pairs of twin spots that I hope I will be able to breed next spring. And they're hanging out in the biggest cage that I have with some of the gold breast parents and one of my strawberry finch females, just because she's kind of buddies with one of my twin spot boys. So almost everybody is done molting, or pretty close to done molting, so they should be in prime condition for moving into the aviary as soon as it warms up next year. My one of the other big flights has all the little orange-breasted babies, including the last 3 from the last clutch. They have moved out of the aviary. So they're just kind of hanging out. They make a really nice little flock. They're doing seed experiments for me here, which I can talk about later, I guess. And just waiting for them to color up. And hopefully I'll be able to make up some unrelated pairs for people if they're interested. Or they'll just stay here because I just love the little gold-breasted, orange-breasted waxbills. Also in that growing up cage are the little black-cheeked waxbills. They're independent now. And in fact, the parents are well into incubating the second clutch. They're doing great, and they're maybe about 3/4 the size. They're getting close to being the same size as the adult birds. It's getting a little bit harder to tell them apart. And here they are with their biological parents, actually, who were moved in from the aviary some time ago. And I'll cycle back to them and, maybe some plans for those guys. Let's see, the lavender finches, I think I mentioned in a previous video that they did have 3 fertile eggs and they failed to take care of the chicks. And I wasn't successful in getting them fostered with the society finches because they just weren't ready. So that whole cage has been opened up so that they share space with my Forbes parrot finches and the Chloriphonia. The male Chloriphonia has just about got his tail feathers grown in, but they're still molting. They're doing great though. I'm really pleased with their temperament and how well they're getting along with the other finches. And just yesterday, I moved in the parents, the last parent of orange-breasted that were in the aviary. And the male has already escaped out of the bars once, but they're beginning to settle in there, sort of take over, which is what they do. That's why they've been moved in with these guys, because he's a bossy little thing, and I knew that the Chlorophonia and the Forbes and whatnot would not put up with that too much, so everybody will have a peaceful coexistence in there. But they cannot think that they're going to have another clutch, because they will take over the entire cage. I guarantee it. So that's not going to happen, guys. I got to get you some more grit. You have a whole nother thing, you guys. It's not just that one particular spot. Okay, this rest of this video is just me talking through my thoughts about what I'm going to do with the new birds and why. It's really more for my records than anything. So, and then I'm just videotaping what I'm doing with the cage, because if I ever have to get it apart again, I have to remember how I got that thing in there. Doesn't that look nice? So I have a problem that I like to have all my stuff visible. And I have a lot of stuff. And it doesn't all have to be, it doesn't have to all be out and easily accessible. Because it's 10 feet away. So I'm trying to simplify the stuff that's out here that I absolutely have to have out here, and the rest can go in storage. And then, if this was all open, it turns out, if I just cut a hole right here to accommodate the legs of the cage, I can fit a quarantine cage up here. That would be handy. But I do have some things that have to stay out. They just have to. All right, so seed mix, backup seed mix. That's an everyday thing. This is the grass seed, the Southwest mix grass seed. This is the core purchased African seed blend that I add stuff to make this. This wouldn't have to be out here. This has to be out here. This wouldn't have to be. That's good. Let's move this out of the way. So I'm only including this in the video, A, because, you know, it's kind of interesting, all the stuff that goes along with keeping birds, but also how traumatic this is for me, the idea that I might not have my stuff right next to me. I kind of wonder if I have a little hoarding thing going on here. Reference material, notes. This is for shipping. This doesn't have to be out. That's for blocking if there's too much airflow. Also, same thing. They don't have to be out here. Okay. So, am I down to everything? Yeah, okay. That's better. All right, so what has to stay? I'm being a little cagey about the species that I'm getting next week, hopefully next week, because until they're in hand, you never know if something's going to go awry. And so that's why I'm not really talking about it right at the moment in specifics. But here's something to think about. The twin spots are very shy. And they overreact to the alarm calls of other birds. And it kind of freaks them out, and they get worried, and then they maybe get stressed out. So I don't want to put new birds right next to them, and particularly new birds that have a loud call. So for example, when the violet-ear waxbills were across from Leafy and Loose, they would not go to nest because violet ears sometimes fight, and they have a pretty hideous screeching, nightmarish noise that they make when they're fighting. And it was unnerving the twin spots. As soon as I moved them so that they couldn't see each other and they were farther apart, then immediately they went to nest. So you have to be kind of mindful of that, those dynamics. Okay, so that's one thing. And one of these species I have, I'm getting, it has a pretty loud, has pretty loud calls. Okay, so then the next thing is, one of the species that I have, am getting, does not get along with twin spots, the greenback twin spots. So they need to be separated so that they don't fixate on each other. Well, let me rephrase that. So the new species doesn't fixate on the twin spots. Then that species doesn't get along with the other species that I'm getting. So they can't share space. So I have to quarantine everybody separately. They won't be able to go into the aviary at the same time, that sort of thing, which is dumb on my part. Like, why am I doing this? I just can't resist the urge to work with species that I don't have experience with. I just can't do it, apparently. So I had an opportunity, and I was like, I have to do it. I just have to. So what I'm thinking is that I'll set this up as a double wide for one of the species, and that will also let me separate the male and the female if that is necessary, because that sometimes is necessary with this species. So there's that. And then I will use one of those cages for the other, so they won't be right next to each other, and I can even block them visually. And then they're all over here. The twin spots are all over there. And then, of course, when the aviary is opened back up again, then I have more options about splitting birds around. So that gives me lots of flexibility. Okay, so this can go. It could just go back here. Just so I kind of have it handy. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, just for fun, I'm going to count the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 steps away. That's the tragedy of moving stuff. So yeah, I'm going to say I've got a little bit of a problem. Are you excited? Yeah, it is. I'm excited too. Their nest is right up there. Okay, so These are those holy rollers that you use for dog toys. Look at the diameter of that. Might be perfect for a nest ball. And here's, you saw them hanging up over there. Here's what's great about them though, when for storage. Look at that. They stink. Take them outside. They're also cleanable in between clutches. I am not the first person to think of that idea. Okay. These aren't going to be that far down because they're going to be sitting on the tray, so the feet won't be that low. And I don't think they'll interfere with these guys. That's the kind of idea how it's going to fit, and I think it's going to work. Very excited because they got worms today. I love those black cheeks. They are really, really cool birds. Okay. Let's bottom half going here. I have no clue why I'm filming this. I'm just having this very peaceful moment of putting together my quarantine cage. Just enjoying hearing my birds singing, thinking about how to keep the new birds happy. Okay, should we see if it works? That side's going to be open anyway. Let's see how this works. You know what else I'm noticing? Even though I drop that cage down, it's not going to be low enough to go under that lower wall, is it? Unless I take that tray off. Huh. I'm going to have to re-drill those holes and move the tray up, I think, because I can't rest it on this. That needs to be able to slide. Oh, I'm glad I discovered that now. Why did I think it was going to fit? That's like a little over 56 inches. And this is 51. It's not that I can't do it, but why didn't I figure that out in advance? Huh? Huh? Just enough room. Okay. So I think the leg is now going to be too long. I think what's going to happen is this guy can't go here. I don't want to cut the legs because, you know, you might be surprised, but I may rearrange the, you know, bird room at some point. So I don't want to compromise where I could use the cage. But now that I've cleared that off, actually this will be great. I'll put the seat over here. I'll put the bookcases over on either side of the leg. So that's fine. All right, that's not a big deal. Is there any reason not to put that in place? I have to do a bunch of stuff on this side to put the divider in, but I can get to it. I don't need to get behind it anymore, I don't think. So let's try it. How bad can it be, guys? It's gonna be noisy. Hang on. There. Starts to look like a real cage. Why am I doing this? I have no idea. Just enjoying the process of setting up a home for the new birds. It's gonna be fun. They can look right into the aviary. I think they know as well. So it was important for me to check because I don't want to keep feeding live food if they're not actually feeding any chicks. So, okay. I'm going to turn this on. I got to watch and see what they're doing. I'm pretty sure at this point my only pair of black cheeks that will feed their chicks is not going to be able to produce fertile eggs. Okay. Devastated. Now, my next unfortunate thing is that the other half of that is not coming anytime soon. actually really hard to tell when it will come. So, if those guys are not going to have chicks, they're done for the year. It actually simplifies things a little bit. The question is, do I steal? These guys are building a nest. I don't know how serious they are about it. Okay, I wonder if I could steal that third that I already blocked off and use it there, just to finish that. Or do I close that up? I really want a quarantine cage that I can divide though, just in case, for safety. I think I want to move that just because I want to see if it works. Just out of curiosity. So let's do that. Why not? I'm going to drill out that, I'm going to move that bottom tray. Take that outside, I think. Okay, one Band-Aid later. Oh my goodness. How am I going to get that up there? That's going to be tricky. That'll make it ever so much lighter. All right, I'm not going to film me struggling to get that up there. There's no way to swing it around and get the feet in there. It's an interlocking puzzle. There is no answer to this. Unless I cut that leg, and I don't want to do that. I think the only answer is to cut this board. So I can drop that foot in and then slide it through. I don't think there's any other way to do it. I think that's it. I'll try it. I'd rather cut the board than the foot. you kidding me? We can solve that. Too. See? No problem. It's 5/8 of an inch to spare. I don't know what I was worried about. Now, can I somehow okay. Thanks, guys. Sorry about all the noise. I'm gonna definitely need this video to show me how to take this all apart when I decide to change it up again. Enable you guys to go in there. All right. How does it look? I'm gonna make a mess, but okay. Hi guys. All right, time to change water and stuff. Get this a little cleaned up, and then I just got to figure out this guy. How to make that work. And then we need birds to come out of quarantine. That's it. Shall I pretend like they're already out? Yep. Yep. All right, there's that. More stuff to do.